Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome to another segment of What's in the Bag, Jay. Now, this is where I pick 6 movies from my collection that I haven't seen, write their names on a piece of paper, throw them in the bag, draw one out at random, and do a short review. Now, coming back from last week is Sector 7, Seeds of Destruction, Treehouse, The Convent, Frenzy, and making its debut this week is Revenge of the Rats. Love my rat movies. Alright. Let me give the bag a good tussle here. Okay. And we have Treehouse. Now I'm going to set that aside while I put the rest of the movies side by side and take my trusty Freddy vs. Jason die. Let's see what comes back next week. Two. Let's give the bag another good tussle. Alright. First movie coming back is Seeds of Destruction. The second movie is Revenge of the Rats. Now, if you want to see Sector 7 come back, Brad, The Convent, or Frenzy, please vote and I will consider bringing them back. But right now, I'm going to go watch Treehouse and come back with a short review later. Well, I'm back. I just watched Treehouse, and here are my thoughts. Treehouse is a 2014 film which runs approximately 96 minutes and is directed by Michael G. Bartlett. Now, he did the movies Zombie Diaries 1 and 2, which I did not particularly care for, honestly. This stars Dana Melanie as Elizabeth. She was in By Dawn and Glass Jaw. Clint James as Killian's father. He was in Mine 9 and The Encounter. And J. Michael Troutman as Killian. Now, he was in Zombie Con, Savage Youth, and Mindless. Now, this had a budget of $3.25 million. Truthfully, it didn't kind of seem like it. I'm not saying that the movie was cheap, because the movie was by no means cheap. Sometimes you can see where the budget goes by set design and gore and stuff like that. Not so much in this film. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I have a personal history with this film. This film was at Walmart for $5. It had gotten marked down, and this was probably 2 years ago, maybe. And I saw it there. And there were 2 movies that were $5, and I only really had enough to get one. So I ended up buying the Ryan Gosling film, which I still haven't watched yet. Lost River, I believe. I hear it's good. Whatever. This movie I left there, and I've always regretted it. So when I found it at a thrift store, I was more than a little happy. Now, I did something with this film that I don't normally do, and that is I looked up its rating before I watched it. This movie got a 3.8, and let me tell you something. That's crap. This movie is awesome. It's absolutely awesome. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis so I don't spoil anything. Okay, Killian and his brother kind of suffer from their childhood. Their father, Killian's father, is played by Clint James. He was a Marine who went overseas to Iraq, and when he came back, he was very troubled. He had PTSD. He took out a lot of things on the kids, and they basically have a kind of a crappy childhood, and they pretty much leaned on each other. So the brothers go into the woods to light off some fireworks and have a good time, and they find a treehouse. They climb up the treehouse and they find a girl who was actually in the beginning, and her brother was abducted, and you really didn't know what happened to her. So now you see this girl. She's up in the treehouse, and her feet are all messed up. She's scared to death. It's just not a very pretty sight. And she says that they're after me. And of course the boy's saying, "Who's after you?" And that's kind of where I'm going to have to leave it. They ended up being stalked by someone or something. I don't want to lead too much one way or the other. And it's basically a fight for survival. Now, I really enjoyed this film. I thought that acting was great in this film. I thought that the gore was fun. It's very quick paced. Everything was pretty much believable. Like I said, this got a 3.8, and I think that that's total crap from IMDb. I don't understand it. The only thing, if I do have a con for the film, I would say I liked the ending. I just wasn't jumping up and down because I didn't feel satisfied. But I knew what they were trying to do with it. And I really can't tell you because it'll give everything away. But this is definitely a recommendation. If you can get your hands on this film, I think you're going to like it. If you like slasher movies, if you like home invasion films, if you like revenge films, action films, this movie's pretty much for you. This has a little bit of something for almost everyone. And there's a decent amount of gore in it. I was actually quite surprised. So yeah, this is a definite recommendation. Now don't forget to vote for the ones that didn't make it. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.